Yeah, I mean, let's start with the partnership. Obviously, the opportunity to speak to you as a result of this partnership with Skechers. What does it mean to you, this partnership?
Yeah, I think it's really exciting for me. Taking a new challenge going forward. Trying to help grow the company into this space, into football, and to be kind of spearheading that is something I'm really excited about. So exciting times ahead. Some obviously challenging times and a lot of work to be done, but I'm really happy to be part of the team.
And obviously, a lot of change for you the last few months with moving to Bayern. What have been the biggest adjustments for you over the last few weeks? I think you said in Poland that you would maybe start German lessons about now. Are they underway now?
Yeah, no, obviously, lots happened in the space of 4 or 5 weeks, both on professional life and personal life. I started my first German lesson in the week, so a lot of change. Just a lot of new faces. Obviously, I'm still in the hotel at the moment. I'm still looking for a house to purchase, and then hopefully I can get my family over as soon as possible. So just adapting to situations. Obviously, we have the international brace as well, so I've been going back and forth. But just trying to focus on obviously what happens on the pitch, and then trying to sort out the rest of the stuff behind the scenes.
Obviously, it's early days for you over there, but what are the biggest differences you've noticed, if any, between the Bundesliga and the Premier League?
Yeah, I think it is early. It's really hard to see the differences. I mean, every game I've had so far, I've found tough in different ways. So I think time will tell. I think obviously we're only 4 games into the season, so still a lot of teams to play. And but so far, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the new challenge. I'm enjoying the new stadiums, the new teams. It's been a great experience so far. So. I guess over the next months and years, we'll see, and I can really kind of tell what the difference is.
As you'll know, sort of Harry, we've often rushed to kind of compare young English players with big stars, and sometimes when they break through in the England national team, we kind of hype them up a little bit quite early. But you've always struck me as someone, you've pushed yourself from quite a young age to judge yourself against Cristiano Ronaldo, against Lionel Messi, against the very best players in the world. Not many players would make it so tough on themselves so early. Where does that come from for you?
Yeah, I think from a really young age, just that determination to get better. I guess to always push myself to my limits. I've always said to myself, I never want to get to retirement age and look back and think, oh, what have I just done now? Or what have I pushed myself there? So no matter how good I've been or how good the season's been, there's always room to get better. And I think that just comes from maybe a mentality from a young age, and good people around me always pushing me to improve and never to rest on what I've achieved. And that's just carried forward into my professional life and my life in general. So that's something that will never leave me, until the day I hang up the boots. I'll always be pushing for more and always trying to get more out of myself and the teams I'm playing in. And that will continue.
When you look at Ronaldo and Messi, those two in particular, and the longevity they've had, obviously at the top of the game, the fact that they're still playing at a very high level into their mid-late 30s, is it still that? Are they still the benchmark for you, if you like, in terms of the next sort of 5, 6, 7 years of your career?
Yeah, I think of what they've done kind of in their 30s. They was as good in their 30s as they was in their 20s. And obviously me just turning 30 now, it obviously gives me excitement to know that if I keep my body in good shape and keep my mentality right, then, I can be playing at the highest level for hopefully as long as, I want to do it. And, those players I've set the bar, those and a few others as well, and that just motivates me and tells me that it's possible. So it's great watching them players still performing. Two of the greatest players ever to play our game. So for me now, it's just about just almost the second half of my career. I've had a good first half, and now can the second half be even better?
You've always been someone who's looking for marginal gains where you can find them as you talk about trying to improve. I mean, how much can Skechers help in that regard? For example, with the boot that you're wearing now.
Yeah, no, I think that was a big part of the decision I made. You know, Skechers come to me with their ideas and their boot, and the technology that they had put behind it, and the years that they had spent, producing the football boot, and I was really impressed by it. So look, these little percents here and there can really make a difference. And obviously, it's been great to start the way I have in the Skechers boots and score, and hopefully that can inspire other players or young boys and girls around the world to go out and get a pair. I've always done what I felt's right and done what I think can help me be the best, and that's why I made the decision to move to Skechers.
You suffered with a few ankle problems earlier in your career, but they seem to have subsided now. Can the boot help with that, or is the boot helping with that?
Well, I mean, it can, I guess. Obviously, it's been a few years since I've had any ankle injuries, touch wood. So I think that comes down to a lot of things. The boot can definitely make a difference, not just with ankle injuries, but with foot injuries, with metatarsal injuries. So they are really important to make sure you get them right. And comfort is, for me, probably the biggest part of that. And obviously, Skechers are known worldwide for comfortable trainers and now obviously boots as well. So with the ankles, I don't know, but I know the boots are comfortable. So for longevity, that will make a big difference to me.
Mm. A few years ago, you said you'd started working with Dan Sargent, from a nutritional point of view, that he'd prepare the meals and you'd cook them. I just sort of wondered how that is. Are you still doing that now at Bayern? How is that kind of working logistically?
Yeah, again, that's something that I'm still trying to figure out. Obviously, Dan's still a part of my team and will always be a part of my team. He's been great for me, over my pretty much my whole career. So, we'll figure out the best way of doing that, whether it's him just giving me a plan and me working with the chefs out here or finding a way to come out and continue what we've been doing. But again, these are all the parts, off the pitch that I need to still figure out. But for sure, Dan is still a big part of what I'm doing.
You're going to mix some German food in there as well?
I'd imagine so, yeah.
You've also previously talked about sort of tailoring your preparation to peak in the latter stages of tournaments. I remember asking you about that in Qatar. Will Bayern help you with that, do you think? Because you're going to be expected to go and win the Bundesliga, be expected to go into the latter stages of the Champions League. You just think the sort of culture of Bayern and their history of success will help that for club, but also for country with England?
Yeah, I think it can. It's still going to be a busy season. There's still a lot of games to be played, a lot of big games, high pressure games, obviously Champions League. I guess having a winter break in December and early January will help preparation going into kind of the summer, into the Euros. But I think for sure, playing for a club like Bayern Munich will only help me on and off the pitch and dealing with certain situations. In terms of preparation, in tournaments it's maybe a little easier because you're in a condensed period and always trying to peak towards kind of the knockout phases is what you want to do. And maybe a little bit the same with Bayern. Obviously, we hope to be top of the table and through the Champions League group by January. And then that's kind of where the business end of the season starts. But there's still a lot of work from now until January that needs to be done, a lot of commitment and, big moments that we need to get through to make sure that's the case.
And obviously the Champions League starts for you this week. I guess, is it a different dynamic for you in terms of how you approach it with Bayern as opposed to with Tottenham? Whereas with Tottenham, no disrespect to them, but it felt like a more of an adventure, more of a journey. Whereas at Bayern, it seems as though the expectation from the start is that you've got to go a long way in it.
Yeah, but I still think I'll prepare in the same way as I did with Tottenham. With Tottenham, our aim was to win it every year, even though from the outside that was not always a possibility. But in our heads, in our team, that was always what we wanted to do. So I don't think I'll prepare any different. I think I'll still do the same as what I've always done, and And yeah, obviously it's new for me playing for a new team in the Champions League. So we start on Wednesday, so it'll be interesting to see how that experience. How the crowd are, how the team are. But yeah, of course, it's a competition that the club make clear they want to win and try and achieve to win. So for me, it's just about going out there in every game I play and giving my best and trying to perform at that level.
I don't think you're someone who looks back too much, but just to sort of reflect a little on the final that you played, obviously with Spurs against Liverpool, and how do you look back on that now, and how much does that experience drive you on to want to go one better?
Yeah, I think whenever you've been close to a major championship, it always leaves that fire in your belly to go and get back there and go one step further. It's been the same with England as it was with Tottenham. In that Champions League final. Of course, they're heartbreaking losses and losses that probably live with you for the rest of your life. But for sure, it gives you motivation to get back there and go one step further. So, like I said, it's always the aim to try and win these trophies. They're extremely hard to do because you're playing against the best teams in Europe, and there's a lot of good teams. So, yeah, just step by step, we have to obviously take the group stage as it is and try and qualify, and then come the new year, hopefully we're in a good position to have a good run.
Were you fully fit in that 2019 final? Did you feel you could give your best in that game?
Yeah, I was totally fit. I know there was a lot of talk around that game and after that game, but I had plenty of time. I was training within plenty of time to play that final. So it's always the case when things don't quite work out. People always look for an excuse or a reason why, but sometimes, we just got beat on the day by a team that performed better than us, and that's the reality of it. So, but yeah, for me, I had a clear head, and I think you had to respect the manager's decision. I don't think the manager would make a decision that was never the right one for his team.
No, sure. Obviously, you're facing Manchester United in the first game. Are you a bit more vocal in the team meetings ahead of this one? Are they tapping you up for information? And obviously, the manager knows all about it, having managed in England. But you sort of the mole in the camp, as it were, to be able to give them insider info.
Yeah, I think, of course, playing against an English side, I've had many experiences of that. So I think, maybe the players will lean on my experiences a bit. But teams change so much from year to year. There's a lot of obviously new players and a new way of playing. So I think the focus will be on us as it is, every week to see how we can hurt them. And then as always, I'll be trying to give little tips here and there to my players and the team to try and help us be successful on the night. It'll be a tough game. I know they're going through a little bit of a tough patch right now, but they're a really talented team. So we need to be switched on in every moment and try and perform well.
Last time you faced them, Harry, in April for Spurs, the United fans were singing "Harry Kane, we'll see you in June." Did you hear that at the time? It must have been a strange thing to be on the receiving end of.
I heard it when I was on the pitch, but there's always sometimes fans are singing good things about me, sometimes fans are singing bad things about me. That's just the nature of football. So I don't let that kind of in, whether it's good or bad. I kind of focus on what I need to do. So look, Man United are a fantastic club, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Like I touched on, they're going for a bit of a tough spell right now, but you always have to be careful against these teams. So my focus is obviously on Bayern Munich and trying to beat Manchester United on Wednesday.
You'll be facing a couple of your England teammates, potentially one of them Harry Maguire. I just wonder what your view was of what happened to him in the Scotland game, and just how the sort of character he showed really to come through that.
First and foremost, Harry has been one of England's best defenders, if not the best defender over the past 6-7 years. So sometimes I think probably with social media now and just a lot of exposure, things are sometimes taken out of context. And look, we've all been at away games where the fans are maybe on your back. Was it maybe a little more than what I've experienced probably. But look, Harry's first and foremost a great guy and also a great player, and I don't think he'd let anything affect him on that night. Okay, he scored an own goal that thousands of defenders have scored throughout their careers. But on the ball, he showed great composure, great resilience, and a great mentality. So that we're all behind him. Obviously, the coach is behind him. As always, as a player, sometimes when you're going through a tricky spell, you just got to keep working hard and keep having the right attitude. And for sure, Harry will have that. So obviously, I wish him all the best. Just not on Wednesday. But yeah, going forward, I hope that he can fight his way back into the team and show everyone what he's capable of.
There was also a bit of criticism of Gareth after the first game, the draw in Poland against Ukraine. I mean, it seems crazy considering how far England have come under him. You obviously played in that Iceland game in Euro 2016. When you think of where England were then and where they are now, do you think he's maybe unappreciated or underappreciated by some people?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think it comes with being the England manager first and foremost. You could win 20 games in a row and then have one draw against a really tough team like Ukraine away, and people are always going to have their opinions. But again, that's part and parcel of football. I think what matters is what we have in our environment, what happens between the four walls that we're in, and Gareth has been a massive part, if not the biggest part of our close successes over the last 6 years or so. So look, I think we're as a team, as players, we're fully behind the manager, and we love the way he goes about his business, and we have important games to play in and an important championship to try and be successful next summer, and that's where our focus is.
As you say, there's a tournament to come, but I mean, do you hope he stays on beyond Euro 2024?
Yeah, I think that I've said before, that's his decision. Only he can make that decision for himself and his family. I think the players, are fully behind him. We've loved working with him and we'll continue to love working with him. So again, that comes down to him. For whilst he's the England manager, for whether it's a year or the next five years, we'll keep pushing to be the best we can be. And with Gareth there as the manager, we've got a great chance of being successful.
Just a final couple. You've got, just looking a bit further ahead, you have your first big German derby in the beginning of November against Dortmund, and you always had such a good record in North London derbies. What is it about derby games that seems to bring out the best in you?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think obviously this will be a new experience for me, a new derby to play, but there's just always maybe a little bit extra throughout the weeks, the build up to the game. Maybe when you get to the stadium, there's that just a little bit more sense of an important game. I'm not quite sure how to put a finger on it, but obviously I enjoyed my time in England playing in not just the North London derby, but London derbies in general. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I in my head I prepare the same way and I do all the same things I would for any game, but for some reason, for sure, the London derby seem to go well for me. So hopefully I can continue that over here.
Just finally, on your sort of future career plans, have you mapped out what this? You talked about the second half of your career. Have you kind of mapped out what you'd like to do in future, or do you just take it year by year?
Yeah, I think I just take it year by year. I think, I still feel like I've got loads of years left to play. Maybe when I start getting to, late 30s, I'll start, thinking about what I want to do maybe after football or a bit further down the line. But for now, it's just about enjoying, every moment, enjoying being a footballer, because it goes so quick. And, already being probably at the highest level for 9 years, that those years have flown by. So just trying to take it all in year by year, game by game. Laying it all out there to give it my best for the teams that I'm playing in, and that's what I'll continue to do. I don't like to get too far ahead of myself.
You have talked about thinking about trying to be an NFL kicker when you retire, and do you think of that in terms of maybe finishing as a footballer a little bit early because you want to go over there a little bit younger and try it? I mean, how sort of serious are you about the NFL thing?
Yeah, the NFL, obviously, a lot of people talk to me about that. And of course, I've always said it's something that I'd like to explore at a later date. But I think it all depends on, where I'm at in my career, whether I'm happy, to continue playing football. There's a lot of question marks. So it's something that's in the back of my mind, but it's still a long way away. So again, it's not something I'm thinking about right now. I guess time will tell. And in life, sometimes things just play out how they're supposed to play out. So we'll see, in 5, 6, 7 years where I'm at and where I want to be and what I want to do, and I'll make that decision then.
Is your old coach Clive Allen? Do you remember? Do you know he played for the London Monarchs, didn't he, as a kicker after being as a footballer? Have you ever talked to him about that?
No, I heard that he done that. I've never spoke to him about it. So I guess if I get further down the line with it, obviously I'd have to give him a call and see, how he found that experience and go from there.
Okay, just last question. Just wrap it up in terms of what would a successful season be for you, do you think? Do you? I mean, I know you want to win straight away. You want to keep this goal scoring record run that you've started with, but does it have to be a trophy this season? Is it that urgent for you?
Well, I think that's the aim, but like I touched on before, that's the aim I've had every season going into with Spurs, and the same with Bayern Munich. So again, it's impossible to dictate how the future is going to play out, but I think for me, just preparing every week, every game in the best way possible, pushing myself and pushing the team and pushing people around me to be better is the only way forward. And then if you end up being successful at the end and winning trophies, then that'll be an amazing achievement. But for now, it's just about the next game and the next moment and trying to perform and score and help the team. And that starts again on Wednesday night.
Well, best of luck with it. And thank you very much for taking the time.
No worries. Thank you.